Smoke and flames explode out of the back of your scooter, leaving you wondering what the heck just happened. You may be asking yourself, why does my scooter backfire? We're here to help clear things up for you. So watch this video till the end, it'll be interesting. In this video, we'll also talk about how does the scooter backfire affect the scooter. How do I stop my scooter from backfiring? And causes of backfiring of scooters. After I did a little bit of digging, I found that the main reason why a scooter may backfire is because of the needle valve in your carburetor. There are different types of scooters, but most models have the same type of parts and function similarly. So what does this needle valve do? The job of the needle valve is to adjust how much fuel enters the engine. So by adjusting this, it will give you more or less power and speed. It also determines the amount of fuel-air mixture that is entering your engine, which therefore controls how much power you have, as well as how efficient your scooter is. So what is a scooter backfire? For those who don't know, a backfire is when the gasoline-air mixture ignites in the exhaust pipe rather than in the combustion chamber. This typically happens when you step on your scooter's gas pedal and gives off that annoying popping noise. It also leaves black marks on your exhaust, which can be pretty unsightly. Why do scooters backfire? Like I said before, most scooters backfire because of the needle valve. This is especially true if the engine is tuned improperly. It could also be a sign that you're riding your scooter too hard and need to change its tune accordingly. Scooters can also backfire when there's too much air in relation to the fuel that's being vaporized. So, if you have a V-twin engine and your air intake is too high, it can cause a backfire. This also means that mopeds with 2 cylinders may need to be tuned differently than those with only 1 cylinder. So here are the causes of backfiring of scooters. The causes of backfiring of scooters are fuel abundant in the engine, leaks in the exhaust. Fuel consumption is low in the engine, the vacuum is too high, the jet needle is not adjusted correctly and the fuel ignition is delayed. Now let's break down each of these causes. 1. Fuel is abundant in the engine. When there is too much fuel in the engine, it can cause a backfire. You might experience this when you're accelerating really hard and need to let off the throttle. The best way to avoid this situation is by changing your scooter's tune, which will typically fix the problem. This is especially important if you recently had your scooter tuned. 2. Leak in the exhaust. If your scooter has a leak in the exhaust, it can cause a backfire. This is because there's an air leak that's causing more fuel to enter your engine than necessary, which consequently creates too much power. It also means that you need to change or fix your exhaust. 3. Fuel consumption is low in the engine. When you have too little gas in the tank, your engine will cut out at high RPM, which can cause a backfire when you try to start it up again. This is because the spark plugs still think that there's not enough gas in the cylinder to create combustion. The best way to fix this issue is by ensuring that you have enough fuel in your tank. Additionally, you should check the power valve on your carburetor, as it may be faulty and restrict air from entering the engine. Moreover, make sure that your throttle slides are opening completely when you hit the throttle. Otherwise, the engine will cut out, causing a backfire when you try to start it up again. 4. The vacuum is too high. If the vacuum is really high, you'll have a hard time accelerating. This can lead to a backfire if your scooter surges forward when you're trying to accelerate from a stop. To fix this issue, check your air filter and make sure that it's not too dirty. You should also ensure that there aren't any leaks in your air intake, as this will raise the vacuum. 5. The jet needle is not adjusted correctly. A backfire can also be caused by a faulty jet needle. If the jet needle is set too lean, it will cause a surge in your engine when you're trying to accelerate from a stop. When this happens, fuel will get pushed into the cylinder even with the air throttle closed because there isn't an air vacuum present anymore. 6. Fuel ignition is delayed. When the spark plug has a delayed time of firing, it can cause a backfire in your engine. This is because your engine isn't starting on the first revolution that the piston turns, which then causes more fuel to be present in the cylinder. In order to fix this issue, you should replace your spark plug with a new one and ensure that it's not worn down. You can also adjust minor issues related to a delayed ignition time by changing your scooter's tune. A tune will typically solve this problem because it'll give the right spark timing without any issues. So get the new durable spark plug at an affordable price in the description below. So how does the scooter backfire affect the scooter? In most cases, it is not that harmful to the scooter to backfire, but it can cause major problems in some cases. The first thing that may happen is broken parts due to the high pressures caused by the compressed gas. This typically happens when you have a crack in your exhaust or if your head gasket has gone bad. Additionally, this can even cause damage to your internal parts if the backfire is powerful enough. The exhaust will begin to corrode, and it can even catch fire due to the high temperature that's created. This is especially dangerous because the oil in your scooter's engine also starts to burn at this point, which means that there is a serious issue with your scooter. So how do I stop my scooter from backfiring? There are a few things that you can do in order to stop your scooter from the annoying backfiring effect. Some of these things include the following. Number 4, clean the fuel injector. Cleaning your fuel injector is the easiest way to fix the issue, as this will allow you to start up your scooter again without any issues. The simplest way of doing this is by pulling out your throttle and removing the power valve on top of your carburetor. You should then spray a high-quality carburetor cleaner into it, and make sure that you turn your scooter over a couple of times, in order to get the cleaner in every corner of the carburetor. You can then set it aside for a while and allow everything to dry off. So get the affordable high-quality carburetor spray cleaner in the description. Number 3, change fuel grade. Changing your fuel grade is another good way of fixing this issue, but it's best done when you're at home so that you can get to a gas station without too much trouble. The fuel grade that your scooter runs best on is different for every engine, so it's hard to suggest one to use. You just need to experiment with different grades until you find the right one for your scooter. So there's a link in the description with different fuel grades you can use, so check it out. Number 2, keep an eye on your carburetor. Keeping an eye on your carburetor is another great way of fixing this problem, as you can then monitor for any sort of buildup that could contribute to the backfiring. If you notice something draining from your exhaust or if there's a buildup in your carburetor, you should leave it alone until you get home so that you can clean the part out. Number 1, check your jets. Finally, you should check your jets to ensure that they haven't clogged up. If they have, then this will cause the fuel not to combust properly because it can't get pushed into the cylinder while there's no air present. You should simply unscrew them, and use one of the other methods in order to ensure that your jets aren't clogged up with anything. In conclusion, if you want to fix the backfiring issue, then you should start by checking your spark plug. If it's worn down, then you will need to replace it and adjust the timing of the ignition. If you notice that there is a lack of power or if you feel like something isn't right, then you may want to try cleaning the injector and the carburetor before everything else. Finally, you can always check your jets and your fuel grade in order to determine what the problem is. If the issue still persists, then you should take it to a mechanic, or leave it alone until you get home so that you can have someone else look at it for you. Thank you for watching. If you find this video useful, don't forget to comment, like, and hit the subscribe button to get more video content.